Angry guy here, and black men are avoiding black women. Black men are avoiding black women. Guys, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already have it. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video again. Now let's begin. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this comment that I received. It says, I'm a hybrid myself, being half Japanese and black. I've never been attracted to and or dated a dark-skinned girl since I don't like curly hair or dark skin due to the social economic class I was raised in. All of my BFFs are white or Asian. I felt like a celebrity when living in Europe since girls told me I was exotic because I'm 6'3" and a hybrid. It po- it probably helped since Dutch ist mein zweit Sprache. Okay, that looks like German. Med school was a blast, and I was the only non-white student of my medical class of 50. So this guy is also a doctor. Guys, this is a very, very serious thing that's happening. Women will say that they don't care. Black women will say, oh, well, I don't care. Whatever. These are dusties. These are the men that we didn't want anyway. Here you have a black man who, from what I can tell, is still reasonably young, 6'3". He's a physician. Now, here's something about most physicians, at least when they're younger. They have to stay in good physical shape. They have to go to the gym. They have to take care of their bodies. A lot of people don't know the secrets of doctors. How is it that doctors avoid getting sick? Well, I'll pull back the screen a little bit. One of the main things is that they do get sick. They have to work out. They have to stay in shape. They have to take care of their health. That's the only way they can actually avoid getting sick when constantly around sick people, and also sanitary issues. That's why hospitals have to be clean at all times. However, that's the main thing. So most doctors have to stay in shape if they want to stay healthy to avoid getting sick when constantly around sick people. Unfortunately, these women don't realize what they've lost. They've lost men who are of the highest income. They've lost the men who are the most educated. They're losing the men that they even desire. 6'3". Come on. They're losing the light skins. There's a lot of women who say they like the light skins. This guy is exotic. So this guy who will undoubtedly be making well over $100,000 a year, depending on what specialty he goes into. And after practicing for a certain period of time, he can make upwards into the hundreds of thousands of dollars quite easily. And I've argued this and I've said this quite constantly, that women will no longer have access to these men. And in the black community, these men are fewer and fewer because women, specifically the single mothers, which are praised in the black community, black women, and promoted as being strong, independent, and something to be desired, constantly put Tyrone and Pookie and Ray Ray on a pedestal. Those are the men that they actually love. Those are the men they actually want to be in relationships with. If you have a black doctor, you only want to be with him for money. Now, the thing is, these are the men with the actual value. So this is a guy who is extremely tall, has the bread, has the education, has all of these qualities. And of course, a lot of black women would not be attracted to this guy because of the qualities that he has. They'd be attracted to him because he's tall, he's probably good looking, and he's making a lot of bread, and he's a doctor. But believe it or not, that would actually turn them off a bit towards him in some ways. For example, they are less likely to love him because he is an educated black man or half black man versus a thug who, has these qualities that they would fall in love with. Because that's how women are. They love the Tyrones, they love the Pookie, they love the Ray Rays, they love the Chads, they love the guys who don't even want them. They will never love you. The guys that they will actually love, that they can actually love, are going to be the toxic dudes, the dudes that bring nothing of value to them and take them on emotional roller coasters. And you have to remember there's no such thing as a bad emotion for a woman. All emotions are good emotions. And not only are all emotions good emotions, but believe it or not, too many good emotions for a woman equate to bad because too much good becomes boring. Hence, a woman needs you to mix it up constantly for her. She needs you to basically, she needs chaos in her life. And that's why women love chaos because they thrive in chaos. It's a terrible thing. But women love guys who give them both pleasure and pain. And when you think about it, Tyrone is a source of both pleasure and pain. He brings her pleasure, but he also brings her pain and even some suffering. So what she does is she turns to Tyrone to give her the pleasure, pain, and then she turns to someone like this black man or this hybrid to to ease her suffering. Basically, she will use him to live off, use him as a status symbol, but she will never love him. And these men are clearly wisening up and walking away from Western society and relationships in Western society and saying, you know what? Not me. I'm not going to get caught. You know, a lot of the older guys, a lot of the older physicians, they had their lives destroyed. They had their lives destroyed because they didn't know any better. They got married, and these women took them for a ride, and it's amazing. Can it's quite insane to imagine that you go to see your physician, you go to see your doctor, and you've been seeing this guy for 20, 25 years, and you have certain expectations of him. You expect him to be living a decent life. You've been seeing him all these years. You've been supporting him for all of these years, and it's not just because you develop, after you know someone for a long time, you develop a relationship with that person. So you assume this person is doing well in life, and you know, people show him respect because he's earned that respect. Little do you know, when he goes home, his wife is giving him grief and misery, and he's living like this for decades until she finally divorces him, takes half, and now he's living like a hobo. And that's not good for society. It is not good for your physician to be living terribly and poorly because that's going to affect the quality of care that you receive. These are human beings. They have emotions like everyone else. It's the truth of the matter is that the way women are in modern day society, it is becoming a serious problem for men to just be in relationships because, for example, you have an air traffic controller, and this is a very serious job that requires very serious observation. And imagine he's having problems with his wife at home. She's not allowing him to sleep. She's driving him crazy. And what's that going to do to him? He goes to work and he has a hard time just focusing, and he starts to zone out and he misses something. And that small miss results into catastrophic outcomes. And it's serious. It really is serious. Or you have a police officer and his wife is giving him grief. And as a result of that, he just can't take it. And maybe he does something he shouldn't do or shouldn't have done because he just cannot handle it. And he's in high stress situations every single day. And he finally cracks one day. And you realize that what women are doing to men it's affecting all of us. It's affecting society as a whole. It's ripping society apart. And you have to understand that modern women, they don't care. They don't care about the outcome. They don't care about any of these things. And they will never, ever take responsibility for a shred of it. Because, there's a saying that they do not have agency. Only men have agency because men are the only ones that are forced to take accountability. Men have to take accountability for everything they do and for everything that they haven't done. We are blamed for everything. And I'm telling you right now, even women who ultimately blame feminism will blame men for feminism. Feminists will blame men for feminism. You're going to say, come on, Angry. No, you're going too far. Feminists will say that it's because of men why women need feminism, and it's because of men why women ultimately went down the feminist path, and it's because of that why that feminism has led to the division of men and women in society, because ultimately men are the reason why women needed feminism in the first place. It's basically got, and that's not, it's not even perfect, but that's kind of just like giving you an idea of how girl math works, girl logic. Like it's just unbelievable. They will find every way to blame men for everything. I already told you, if men no longer existed on the planet and it was only women, and let's say women had technology that allowed them to make more women, so they could still create more women, couldn't create men, but they could create more women, and doing that, they could sustain the population. It wouldn't be enough. It would not be enough, because as society and as society would decline, women would argue that the reason why they're not able to continue thriving in society without men is because society was never built for women. It was built for men. It was built around the needs of men. So they were always destined to fail. Society should have been built from the very beginning under the influence and guidance of women, with men being supporters and helpers, while staying in the background and allowing women to be the architects of society. That's the only way that we would have ever had a good society and essentially a utopia. So even without men, society was always destined to fail, regardless if men were here or not, because society was designed by men and women are still living in the societies designed by men. And the only way that a society of women could ever succeed is if men from the very beginning were submitting to women and women were the architects of society. This is madness. This is madness. But now you begin to understand how women view men and how women view the world. They will never take accountability for anything. You can give women everything. Guys, God could give women everything and they would still say it's not enough. They could have the power of God. No one can be God. But let's imagine for a moment that, let's say, God created a scenario where they believed that they had all of his power and all of his majesty, everything that he could do, right? And again, they can never be God. But let's say he gave them the notion to at least believe that they could be, and they had all of his power and everything. I guarantee you, if they maintain that nature that they have, they would never be content. They would never be content. And somehow, using girl logic, they would turn around and blame God for their discontent and say that they were destined to fail from the very beginning, because the universe and the creation of everything was designed around the whims of God, who is a man. And as such, if women were, if the nature of women had created everything, if the nature of women, the consciousness of women, had been the very first consciousness to exist of God, then things would be different, and then it would be perfect. This is the maddening, guys. It's you. There's no way of winning. There's no way of winning. The only way you can win is to walk away. To walk away. The Bible literally says somewhere, if I recall, that men who can go without a wife are better off. Like, if you can live without a woman, that's the best thing to do. If you can go your own way, that's the best thing to do. It essentially alludes that it's going to be hard. It is going Marriage in and of itself is hard. That's what the Bible, from what I've heard, this essentially alludes to, that marriage is actually a difficult thing. And if you can do without a relationship, then do so. If you are able to be happy by yourself, content by yourself, then be content by yourself. That's the honest to goodness truth. And I've said this before. Why were women made in this way? Only God knows. Because women are designed to be helpers. They're designed to be agreeable, to help men, help men on their journey. But that's not what happens. And I do not know why it is this way. But I guess it has to do with freedom of will, freedom of choice, the fact that they can choose. And as a result of that, they will always have resentment towards men, because they will always desire everything that we have, even though they are not the creators of it. And even that will not make them happy. They will always want what we have, but they will never want to have the accountability and responsibilities that we also have to undertake. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, help this channel get to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video ever again. What do you guys think regarding this? Black men are avoiding black women. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.